Uh, Mr. Wright? So, what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused.
Huh? Let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room.
What's this "and the evidence room" part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. Or try to, at least.
Alright, let's do it!
Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this.
Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Why can you read my thoughts? Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go! Science awaits us! You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares?
Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room, no biggie.
Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it.
This oil drum, was it empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
My sister erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never!
Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister.
That's not it at all! Stop reading my mind! It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her.
Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away.
Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright.
Huh? What's that grin for?
This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid.
Luminol?
Blood is sticky stuff, you know? You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there.
But wouldn't the police have already done those tests?
Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try.
Me? Why do I have to do it?
I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet.
We're testing blood stains with this stuff, not drinking it.
Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses.
Huh? You had an extra pair of those things?
To test for blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press the A button to spray it on. Okay, let's find some blood stains.
Why did you label the handle of this thing with the letter A? As she says, you can press A to spray on anything where there might be blood, but this is a little more intuitive on the DS where you use the touch screen. Once you found something, you press A to confirm. I can see your eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a blood stain?
It's so... ugh.
Emma, you're shaking.
It's just... this is my first time seeing real blood.
Scientific investigation in action? Have you never, scraped your knee or accidentally cut your finger?
Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a blood stain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course.
What's odd about this, scientifically? The amount of blood. There's, nothing there. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood?
I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe.
It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood. At least than this.
Hey, Mr. Wright? I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a blood stain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right?
Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too.
I saved up my allowance to buy that.
Just luminol testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Emma Skye.
We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case.
Yeah, they are bastards. Let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day.
Yeah! It feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it?
Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious.
Ha! I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Star! You only trust your own eyes, hmm? Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house.
Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering.
You certainly put me in a tight spot today.
My apologies, Miss Star, but...
No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand! That's unforgivable! Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman.
I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what?
So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Star? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up.
Coughed it up?
They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the Cough-Up Queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches.
And you were let go. Fired?
I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident.
SL9?
Wait, she doesn't mean... What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet.
Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident?
Apparently not. You have to present Goodman's ID as well. I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Back when you were the Cough-Up Queen, right?
We found this ID card here in this parking lot.
Well, there's no mistaking that. It's definitely Goodman's.
But it's the same ID as the man who was killed at the police department.
That's impossible. I wish I could be so sure. Oh, never mind. We also need to present the crime photo. If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes.
So you went straight to the scene of the crime?
I rushed toward the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime? Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The hole in my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Star. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time.
That time?
That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary. It was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed.
Executed?
Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence, not a shred.
What? But the criminal was executed, right?
On the basis of evidence, of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone who fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well.
Wait, could it be?
Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I.
You haven't forgotten SL9.
There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait! Those lunches you sell. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends. Boyfriends that can help me investigate.
Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? I mean, not that I'm judging, the polycule kinda goes hard, but just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence.
There has to be a connection.
So, rookie. What?
It seems like you're serious about investigating this case.
Yes.
Then you should take this.
A Salisbury steak lunch?
I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat.
Excellent for putting Officer Marshall in a good mood.
Miss Star? Officer Marshall, is he your... are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then.
This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective.
But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you.
Officer Jake Marshall.
I just wanted to make sure real quick that we aren't missing anything for the achievement related to seeing all of her lunches, and it turns out we have actually seen everything that we would not normally see through story progression, so we're good to move on. Let's head to the police department.
It's even busier here today than it was yesterday.
The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring.
I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here, after all.
So the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is.
She's like a kid at an amusement park.
Oh, a real crime scene! Let's go take a look!
You've already seen a real crime scene. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric.
According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room.
So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime?
It sure seems that way. Oh.
What's wrong?
It's those cacti! They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight.
If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard?
I have a feeling I know who he is already.
Alright. We're going to examine the door. The evidence room is beyond that door.
Let's just walk in. Oops, the audio's delayed. 1 sec. It won't open.
You thought it'd open? I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. Can also examine a lot of things in here, but we're going to start by examining the cactus, and we're really only going to examine the cactus for various reasons.
Yikes, they sure are prickly. They must be the real deal.
I would think just one big one would be sufficient.
These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually.
How so?
Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her.
I'm not so sure I see the resemblance.
It's more of an attitude thing than a physical similarity.
Alright. If you present the luminol, even in an investigation scene where you can't use it, you can spray it on whatever you want in this entire room. Now, this normally doesn't have an effect in rooms that, like, it's not relevant to the plot. However...
Wow, we got a reaction!
There's clearly blood around the spines here. This room's pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over something. And planted their head right in these spines.
I think that might be more painful than being murdered.
Phoenix, maybe they just accidentally set their hand on it. Why are you such a freak? This place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Please.
Huh? Wasn't that...
One steak lunch, please! It's you.
Detective Gumshoe!
Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland.
Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale.
I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking.
Now's no time for despair. We've caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence.
The criminal? You mean...
You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal?
On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect?
Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy.
But Detective Gumshoe, who was it?
Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't going to fill my belly.
Wait, don't leave!
If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later!
He ran off to the evidence room.
Well, this investigation is off to a running start.
Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing.
What was that?
Sir, that's what I'm saying! Me? A perpetrator? I was the perpetrator again, sir! That's what I'm saying! Oh, hi! Greetings, sir!
Wait, I know who you are. Officer Meekins. So you're a guard here at the detention center?
No, sir! I'm not, sir! I'm a little lost patrolman, like a lost little lamb, sir!
Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report.
No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, is he?
You... Officer Meekins, you didn't. Did you?
Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir!
What? What?
Now this is an unexpected turn of events. Okay. I'm sorry in advance, vocal cords and roommates.
Sir! I'm a patrolman with general affairs, sir! Sir!
Ow! I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins.
I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir! The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir!
So normally there's a guard at the evidence room?
That's right, sir! Because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir! Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall!
Marshall?
Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir! A suspicious person in the evidence room! A suspicious person, sir! A suspicious person! Yeah!
What the heck is this guy doing? So what happened then?
After that, sir, everything went right! I saw red! I blacked out! And when I came to, I was here! In the detention center!
How long were you out? Days? Might I ask what happened to your hand?
Sir! There was no one to bandage me, sir! So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir!
A bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky.
Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office.
First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. Let's start with that. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime?
Well, you see, sir!
Don't you think you should just confess?
But sir, there was nothing I could do!
Nothing you could do?
Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir! And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious!
The next thing you knew, you were... Huh?
Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir, all alone! Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared!
What?
Then, when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir! Oh, the shock! Oh, the sorrow, sir! Can you imagine how I felt?
The victim's body disappeared?
That's some story.
That's some neat trick.
I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right?
Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir! If you have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim!
I would, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that.
Yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that.
Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman?
Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side.
So you didn't know him?
Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives!
So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir! None! Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir!
At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Alright.
Do you think you could take a look at this?
Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it!
That's what?
My head was blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember, sir!
You mean you remember what happened?
Correct! That card was the cause of it all!
This ID card?
Exactly, sir! That's exactly it! Nothing could be more exact, sir! Nothing!
I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. You got to hear my vocal cords die in real time in this episode. Can you tell me what it is you do remember?
Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card.
Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far.
That's right, sir! That's what I've been trying to tell you!
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me!
What?
Sir, I assure you, I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him.
Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him?
Do unto others before they do unto you! My own father's words, sir!
What happened then?
Well, my eyes, sir. Everything went white. When I awoke, I was here.
Right.
So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you?
What do you mean, Emma?
Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim, whom he met at the scene of the crime, didn't show his ID card.
In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim really was the victim.
And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died.
That's it, sir! That's what I wanted to say! That is, I did say something along those lines!
Huh? But you still ended up here?
They told me that it had to be him, sir! On that day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly.
No, but the videotape is quite clear.
Huh? Videotape?
From the security camera.
The crime! My crime! The crime I swore to stamp out! It's there! It's me! It's on tape!
And you waited until now to tell us this?
I'm sorry! Really sorry, sir! I'll hand over my badge! I don't deserve it!
No, thanks. I have my own. Well, I guess we better go check out the crime scene. We're back to it. I had to take like an probably 30-minute break to let that lozenge work its magic, and I still don't feel completely better. This character's so fucking exhausting to voice, but that's fine. I don't have to voice him anymore today. Let's go to the Criminal Affairs Department.
Hey, Mr. Wright. Look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives desk.
It's Police Chief Gant.
And you're sure this is all, You know what it means if there's anything missing.
Sure! I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect.
We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine.
I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal?
Yes, sir! We'll scour the place again, sir!
The Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered.
Aha! Righto, my boy! How you been? Swim much?
Oh, Chief Gant! Reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? He's a cop! Can't argue with that. Is Edgeworth going to be okay?
Oh, Worthy! Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him.
It sounds like an inquisition.
Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year.
You mean the incident on Gourd Lake?
It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto?
Von Karma. But he wasn't actually guilty of that particular murder.
A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence.
That's not exactly what I caught him for, either. That was more Gregory Edgeworth's thing. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. Also, I didn't prove that.
In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy.
What?
It's downright hard, I tell you. The detective getting killed on their turf too, I mean.
There being the prosecutors, I assume.
Scientifically speaking, it's impossible.
Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says.
What evidence is that?
Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it.
I wasn't expecting much anyway.
You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets! Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives' trap shut.
He was the one you were picking on earlier?
Huh? You saw that? Whoops!
I wonder what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do.
Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him.
Sounds good. Oh, sorry I had to see that.
What exactly did the chief of police want you to do?
Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can.
So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here?
Of course not. Well, except for this.
What? You kept something?
Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete.
A lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something?
The date on it is February 21. Better make a note of that just in case. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Okay, Phoenix, don't drift off like that. I know you're dealing with Joy-Con drift, but come on. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor.
Well, I never thought the day would come when Righto asked me for help.
I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room.
Now, Righto.
Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all.
Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man?
Huh?
Heck, if anyone asked me, "Sir, could I borrow $50?" I'd give him $50, no problem. So go ahead. Investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out.
It just goes to show you never know until you ask.
And for you, here. You can borrow this.
Huh? Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it?
That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it.
Yes, sir. It's an honor.
You just run along now and do your best. Later, folks.
It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID.
You seem happy.
Yes, sir! Because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir.
I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. It's also giving me flashbacks to something I had to do only like 30 minutes ago. Alright, now we can examine the door. The evidence room is beyond that door.
And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open.
Aha! The card reader is turned off, see?
What is that security guard thinking?
Howdy, partners. Well, well, what's made my Bambina sky so gray?
Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him?
What's that why does it have to be him look for? As you may surmise, this here's my saloon.
We're here to investigate the crime scene.
Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts.
Yeehaw? You didn't even say it with the right inflection or anything.
Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little dogies. Crime scene's awaiting.
Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions.
Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you, hombres.
You're busy then?
Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you.
Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us, hombres. Take this steak, man.
That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas.
So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas?
No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby?
Yeah, Miss Starr.
What's this?
What? What's wrong?
A filet steak lunch. I see. I see.
I don't see. I wonder what it means.
All right, Bambina. You win. Ask him anything.
Finally, it seems like.
He's willing to talk.
Why? I'm done questioning why you can read my thoughts, Emma Sky. Okay.
Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it.
Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us.
Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy. I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly.
He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station.
Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know?
So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy.
No, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place.
You mean the security camera system?
I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know?
Miss Starr told us something. She said you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire.
You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you?
That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened.
There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago? The day of our case.
That's right. The evidence transfers.
Edgeworth was talking about the transfers too.
I don't know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen.
Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras.
Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned.
If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon they might be.
You're the security guard and you reckon?
One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card.
Thus the card reader by the door.
The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through.
So this is the ID card record.
Hey, I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that.
Huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before.
Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about?
We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake. See?
So what happens to the evidence after 2 years?
It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February.
I see now.
Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated.
And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. Alright, well, the ID that was familiar is 5842189.
See this? This is the victim's ID card.
Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot.
The number on this is 5842189.
Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. Look, the 4th number. It's a perfect match.
It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing.
What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world.
So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room.
But wait, what did Officer Meekins say?
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card.
Thank God I'm doing these flashbacks in post.
True.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing! Suddenly he pointed a knife at me!
If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins?
All right, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record.
I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Alright. First, though, we're gonna head into the evidence room. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here.
So this is the evidence room? It really is kind of like a graveyard.
Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue.
Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me.
Whoa!
Sorry, I thought you were a ghost.
I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard? Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, "Sir, could I borrow $50?" I'd give him $50, no problem. So go ahead. Investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, it's true.
So, Chief of Police Gant will loan anyone $50? Even me?
Oh, so that's what you were talking about.
Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today.
Just for today?
Boss for a day.
But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day.
Gee, thanks.
First of all, you want to have this.
You take a look at that. It's just a floor plan of the evidence room. A very non-descriptive one. There's not even text on it.
So, Detective Gumshoe, you're boss for the day?
That's right, it's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department.
But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings?
They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial.
In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again.
I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal.
You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal.
Only you can open?
This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it.
Using their ID card?
Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand.
Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Do you want to bet that you can't lose it?
Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. So, the only locker we can open is our own.
Funny, they look like normal lockers.
These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see?
The handles?
On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it,
Zap! You get a shock!
if that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens.
So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right?
They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today.
I see.
I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case.
That case?
Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth.
Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. Okay, let's present Goodman's note.
Detective Goodman's note, and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone.
Because of the SL9 connection?
That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared.
But why would evidence from that case turn up now?
I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left in that case. Now that was a bloody, violent case.
Violent? So it was a murder.
A serial killing.
A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all.
But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him.
And this was 2 years ago?
That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight, and started the rumor mill.
Rumors about forged evidence?
It was supposed to be all cleared up with the transfer the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is.
Huh? What do you mean?
Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see?
So that switchblade knife.
The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Alright. Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing.
Ah, I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder.
Whoa! What is it?
That second number!
It's not your ID card number, is it, Detective Gumshoe?
Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth.
What? What?
Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? I don't think we can talk about that. Yeah, let's just start examining, I guess. Good to know. We're gonna pan right, and, examine this glove.
Someone left a glove here, but only one.
Detective Gumshoe, maybe?
There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know?
You mean SL9? It does have a tag on it. Alright, what about the open safe?
Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above the door is lit.
That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint.
Detective Goodman's locker.
Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that?
Well, it'll be hard to get it open again if we closed it.
It's empty. You must have taken the contents elsewhere.
Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces.
Detective Gumshoe, perhaps?
There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case.
The case?
The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces here?
Another piece of SL9 evidence. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke.
You want to try to put it back together?
Ha! Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up.
That's why I always carry around a tube of glue.
Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Alright. Life is pain. Let's try and do this. Want to start with fragment number 5. Oh my god, it does it automatically. I forgot it does it automatically. Thank God. We're gonna go to fragment number 4 next. After rotating it appropriately. There we go. Sorry, I'm stupid. 6. Now we want fragment number 1. That looks right. Number 8. Oh. Huh? Okay, It feels like it's on the wrong side of the jar. It's a jar, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. It's not letting me rotate it, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's just try everything until it works, whatever. Okay, there we go. No, I'm an idiot. Actually, no, the notes I have for this are wrong, if that's what's actually happening here, but from here it should be pretty easy to piece together. This piece... and this piece. There we go.
Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing.
Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it.
Were some pieces stolen?
I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar.
I kind of understand how it got broken.
Alright. We're gonna use the luminol testing fluid now. Which is all the way over here. I'm just gonna spray everything. There we go. That looks murdery. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien.
This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans.
Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Okay, detective.
I knew it! This is someone's right handprint.
What? What's the matter, detective? This locker, it's mine.
It's yours?
Please, you have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down in the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police.
What? I mean, it's true, but you're a detective.
Rare-based line about the police in an Ace Attorney game? I doubt there is anything else to see here, but I'm gonna continue spraying everything just in case. Ooh.
Why am I getting a reaction here?
There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal.
What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid.
Where'd you get your hands on that?
Huh?
I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma?
I always buy it by mail order.
I better jot this down on the floor plans. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to give them my report for the day. I might help, you know.
Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer?
The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Okay, let's go. Ah, guess! My apologies! Oh, it's you! Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long! Is Edgeworth here?
There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand.
Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service?
Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry?
I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe is looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems.
Really? Was it helpful?
Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him.
Okay. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Concealing evidence?
Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago.
Are you okay for the trial tomorrow?
Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department.
The police department?
Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the chief of police, Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results.
I see.
Why, I ask you, why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still...
Wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Which is insane, because I've seen him as a suspect for murder. Oh, right, I'd better check this now. As I was saying,
What's this? A record of ID card usage?
Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less.
Yes, that's true.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth?
Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less.
The chief of police?
He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office.
But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed.
The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Can I ask what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case.
Oh, I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it.
Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case.
Okay. Oh, we have to present the switchblade knife or Goodman's note. We have to present this to everyone, it seems.
I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right?
It all has to do with that case you were on. The SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in.
You were the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later.
He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth.
The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant.
That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then.
He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous.
Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth?
What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I use slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed.
Wait, you didn't...
Of course not! I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you were still studying forensic science.
Huh? Yes, of course! Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this.
Luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this.
Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints?
It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know.
I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Well, let's get going. One last investigation.
Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere.
First, we want to use the luminol testing fluid here.
Wright, please. I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea.
I'll pass on the tea. Just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edward just told you no in a very polite manner.
Whose side are you on, anyway? Maybe if I just show him my best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him.
Okay, so you actually want to do it from the court record menu so you don't show it to Edgeworth. We want to spray around here somewhere, I thought, but... Oh, there we go. What? It looks like some blood has dripped down here.
Judging by the amount, my guess is it's from a nosebleed.
A nosebleed, Maybe in his wrath, Mr. Edgeworth slapped someone for their incompetence.
I don't know if slapping is his style. Why does Detective Gumshoe's face come to mind?
That's all. It's just very funny. There is blood in Edgeworth's office. Okay. We're gonna leave now.
Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint.
Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker.
Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed.
Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger.
A finger?
Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print.
I really can't tell the difference at a glance.
Quit procrastinating and choose a finger! Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done.
Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes.
First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around.
Huh? How do you do that?
With the A button, idiot.
Ah, it looks like that did the trick.
The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess.
Huh? How do I do that?
With the X button, or the microphone if you're playing in a better version of the game. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See?
Wow, looks like fun. It takes some getting used to, though.
It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright.
I guess I'd better give it a try. The easiest way to do this is a nightmare, but here we go. I'm gonna go for a few layers here. Just make sure the game really knows what I'm going for, you know? I'm really targeting a specific part of this fingerprint. It's probably enough, right? No, it needs more. That's pretty close, though. Okay, now time to do what I do best and blow. On the DS, it has like a cool effect when you blow, and it's just like, it is just not here in this version.
Aha! You did it! You found one!
But this looks nothing like a fingerprint.
Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't.
What does it mean?
I think it means we're out of luck. Or it think it means we're out of luck.
Out of luck?
The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves.
Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. I covered the entire screen in fingerprint powder.
Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. but it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints?
Other prints?
Looking at the locker door again closely. It seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print.
Fingerprints outside of the blood. That wasn't there before. I would have noticed that for sure. This is the actual faster way to do it. You do not need to cover the entire screen. Dear God, do not waste your time like that. Once you find a print, then you want to go like around the outline. Just make sure you have as much of it as possible. And then blow. That's apparently still not enough.
Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling!
Dazzling?
I've been watching Review Starlight. Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away.
So we're not done yet. This is quite a process.
Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right?
I guess she's right.
Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth, and point out the person you think left these prints.
Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was?
I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would we most likely find in this evidence locker?
Well, this is Gumshoe's locker, so probably Gumshoe. And taking a look at it, yeah, that's definitely the same. However, Gumshoe isn't involved with the case, so I don't know why we have his fingerprint. I mean, I guess he's guarding the evidence room.
Aha! So, these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look.
I guess that's probably because I was thinking, so what?
Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. It's on this one. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right?
Right! There was a handprint here. Okay, wanna try using this?
There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints.
That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first.
What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right?
We only ended up finding it using chemical means.
Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too.
Oh, right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me!
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Well, I mean, yeah, we're allowed to dust the whole thing, so... I think. Okay, so we want to go just left of the middle finger. You'll know you have it because the cursor glows, but otherwise there is literally no way to tell where this fingerprint is. Let's just dust. Alright, we got an outline. I am a little bit torn on these interactive elements. Like, I know why they added them. It's because, oh, we have a DS with a touchscreen and a microphone, and it would be cool to be able to use this in this way. And I agree that this is a cool use for it. But at the same time, I don't know, this isn't really adding anything to the game. Especially in the DS version where the cursor doesn't tell you when you can examine things other than, like, the examine button appearing. Like, you really gotta just take a guess here. Alright, this one... That's Marshall's fingerprint. Hey, these fingerprints,
Whose are they? Is it someone I know?
it's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction, the blood, and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh.
So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain.
But why would Officer Marshall?
It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.